Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to the newest episode of Adam's TV podcast. We're talking all about the past week of American Idol. Today, I'm joined by my co-host Eric. How you doing, Eric?
Doing well. Say hello to my new apartment, everybody. I just have a couch. I have a couch now. Yay, on the couch. I'm gonna put some posters up behind it eventually, but for now it's just a couch. The one thing I'm gonna point out now before we start is that sometimes there's a train that goes by my apartment, like once every hour or so. So when that happens, what I'll do is I'll let you know, I'll hit mute so that Adam can keep talking and you don't have to hear every couple seconds. So
I don't know if I said my name yet, but I'm Adam Samuel. I'm the host for the evening and every evening that we do these. This past week, we saw the last group of the top 24 perform. We had their solo performance and their duets. How do you think they all did as a whole? How do you think they did?
That's hard to generalize, but I'd say there were a couple that I really liked, a couple that I thought were okay, and a couple that I just didn't get.
Before we get into the performances, I want to ask because next week we're now left with our top 14, and the top 14 are going to perform next week. Do you think the producers are going to have a hand in who the final 10 are? Because I know it's America's vote, but in season 15, the judges again had power, and they were like, "You get to save these people." Do you think that trend is going to continue?
I have no idea. My hope is that no. I hope we get to vote entirely and we get to see everyone perform from a top 14 on Sunday. Having said that, it depends on how much time they have allotted. I don't think they're going to get through 14 performances in 2 hours. They'd have to really rush it. So my guess is they're going to follow the season 15 format again.
On The Voice.
Where the judges put 4 of them through, who they like a fast pass, and the other 10 perform.
This past week on The Voice, actually, they did have 24 performances in 2 hours. So it's
well, that's stupid.
I don't think it's stupid. I love the more performances, the better. That means less filler.
I think 14 is fine. I think 16 would be fine. I think that 24 is bordering on ridiculous.
I don't know. So
I mean, then again, maybe they wouldn't have time for all the pointless standing ovations and the judges blowing smoke. So maybe that would work. Who knows?
I mean, everyone's getting praises on this show. Another thing I want to touch on before we get into the performances. A lot of standing ovations again this week. Everyone's getting standing ovations. I wanted to ask you, because one of the things that kept standing out to me is that the judges are giving out standing ovations to just about everyone. And what's weird is the people who don't get the standing ovations are almost always the ones who end up advancing. And how do you feel about that? Like, it's like a disconnect between the judges are highly praising people and then just cutting them. Like, how does that make you feel?
Well, they're highly praising everybody, so it doesn't really make a damn difference. I just really, really wish that we had judges who were, honestly, I just miss the days of old Simon from Idol. You didn't always agree with him, but God damn it, he would tell you what he felt, and he would be honest with these people. And I just miss that.
What I miss is when the live these rounds were actually live.
I miss that too, but
it's like it's watered down. Like everything is like very safe. Like I hate like there's subtitles under the judges, like when they're whispering like during the performance. Like it's just
here it comes, everybody. Here comes the train. Adam, you can talk about the first contestant.
Oh. Well, Eric is muted. I just am going to introduce that. Like last week, we are going to run this episode. We're going to go through the performances based on their solo rounds. So if Maddie performs, we're going to talk about Maddie's solo. We're also going to talk about her duet performance, and we're also going to talk about the results. It allows us so we're not repeating ourselves a little bit too much, and it just we could give our whole opinion on the contestants' run as a whole, just kind of in that one sitting. So Eric is totally muted, but he can nod if he's listening, if he hears me. Can he hear me? All right. So we're gonna go right on in.
What? And I was giving a thumbs up. I don't know if it cuts to me when I'm muted, so that's why I am muted. But yeah, should be fun. I mean, I like the combined format better, as you said. Skip for repeating. So let's get started.
So we're gonna start. First off, Amelia Harris. She's doing Believer by Imagine Dragons. And I just want to say
it.
I want to say this. I was aware of the spoilers. I knew who made the top 14. I did not look at the song selections because that's one part I kind of wanted to hold back on. The only one I knew was that Mara was doing Run to You. I had no idea that anyone was the songs that these people were doing. And then the first second I hear like the words "A Believer," I'm like, oh my God. It's like this is a song that I feel it's going to come, an Imagine Dragons song is going to come out and like snatch one of the contestants every year. Like they're going to be standing there and it's just going to come up. The hand's going to come up and it's going to
be like the hook that drags them off the stage. And it's going to be like the lead singer of Imagine Dragons carrying the hook. Yes.
Just
God, that was wonderful.
It's the curse of these like these pop songs because I'll admit I love this song, Believer by
I do too. It was featured in this commercial for Nintendo. I'm wearing my shirt. Coincidentally, it was a Nintendo commercial. But yeah, God, what a horrible song choice for her. She sang it fine in my view, but it felt like an adult performance of a mid-packer at best. It didn't feel like someone who actually was like trying to go far in the competition. It felt like someone who was like, I'm just doing a safe, boring performance.
I just feel like Believer, it's a great song on the radio. Like it's a great fun song maybe if you want to run to it or like do some exercises. But as a competing song, it makes absolutely no sense. It's first of all, let's just start from the beginning because we see Amelia at her audition. She comes in and she presents herself as like a jazz singer. And yeah. I was thinking like I could see a run for her. Like if she wanted to go fully jazz, there's no one else in this competition who is a jazz singer. She will have that entire lane to herself. And I'm going to say this. I doubt she picked this song. I bet she was forced into it because based on all that we have seen from her, it doesn't make sense for her to pick this song. Because if it was up to her, I mean, I'm just saying like
honestly, we're being nice by saying that I don't think anyone would pick this song out of their own volition.
I just feel like this
unless they're a rock singer or of a type of singer the song might suit. But it doesn't suit her at all. As you said, she's presented herself as a jazz singer, like Rebecca Ferguson type. This is not her, and it was bad.
I just feel like this was bussing. Like this was
total bussing.
Yeah, because the song it doesn't go anywhere. Like it's like the music is more bigger than the singer, like in the original track. Totally. Like it's the boom of the song going off and off, and it just. I feel like the deck was stacked against her. They kind of set her up because they didn't want her to advance. And one of the things that they were focusing on was in her intro package. I think it was in her intro package. Katy Perry said that she was in her audition. Actually, Katy Perry said that you're a top 10 contender, and Amelia was kind of like saying this. I think that she was. Katy Perry was like, I can make the top 10. But then I thought about it and I realized Katy Perry said that to everyone. So, I mean. Like
kudos for being honest. Yes, she did say that to everyone. she said that to definitely more than 10 people, which means she was screwing up several of
them. I mean, Katy Perry's advice just makes no sense because not only that, but the judges continue to not be able to see the stage and they give her a standing ovation. And it's just, and then they end up.
We're going with that.
They give her such high praise and then they cut her because yes, the judges do praise her and they say a lot of good things, and then it's just a total disconnect because if I'm Amelia Harris and I come up the stage, I think I'm now a top 10 lock, and now I'm not. Like it's like
make some better, more emotional eliminations, I guess.
I just feel like if she had decided to stick with jazz, she had potential to like carve a niche in this competition, and now we'll never know. She can't come back for another season, and that's the end. And it's such a shame because I saw so much potential in her.
Yep.
But
I did not watch her duet. I did not watch any of the duets.
She does
for people who didn't make it.
The duet kind of continues the trend that we're talking about. It's she does with Bebe Rexha. Bebe Rexha. She does Me, Myself, and I. She does Me, Myself, and I, and it's just a continuation of this narrative where she was a jazz singer.
Yeah,
like this is a current pop song, and like it's just not what she's presented herself as. It's a little bit like it's like the opposite of Gabby, where.
It's like putting a round peg into a square hole, or a square peg into a round hole. I mean,
by all means, if she wants to go like current, she should be able to. But for all that, she never hinted that she wanted to be a current. Like, I just
Obviously, she wants to be current, but not this kind of current. This is not
everything
her lane.
everything was just an uncomfortable match for her, which kind of brings us to her result. She is cut, which is a shame because I truly there was like I think she was a little bit like she was screwed over,
A little
which is a
bit.
shame. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on her?
Sorry.
All right, so we move on. Next up, we have Garrett Jacobs. He's doing "Treat You Better" by Treat You Better, or is it "Treat Me Better"? No, it's "Treat You Better" by Shawn Mendes. What'd you think?
So now is the time for me to hold up my sign that I made. Sorry, I just don't get it. When you make me like Shawn Mendes' voice by comparison, that's impressive. Because I really don't like Shawn Mendes' voice. The judges at least apparently admitted his vocals were weak. I didn't know. I fast forwarded through it a little bit, but he's there to be a heartthrob. That's it. Yeah,
Like
good for him.
like you said, the judges they say you're not the best singer, but you're a heartthrob, so of course you're gonna make it through. Like that's he does this weird eyebrow thing. It's like it's his eyebrows always up.
Mouth flip, a side mouth, and yeah. Oh god.
You know, while he was singing, there was like his voice. I'm gonna say this, and you're gonna like scream at me, but there were hints of it that reminded me a little bit of Clark Beckham, like tiny hints here or there, where I was like, I could see that.
You think I'd scream at you, but I totally get it. The difference is Clark is a lot better.
Clark is more. He has it more together.
Talented.
Like
more talented.
if
I mean, Garrett seems like a lovely person, and he's cute, but yeah, not my thing.
I was listening.
Sorry, I just don't get it.
I want to hear him do the song "Try a Little Tenderness." I feel like that's that's like perfect. Like I was listening to it and I was like, this is a good song for him because it's a Clark song and I thought it would have been good for him. But he does his performance. He shockingly is one of the few contestants to not get a standing ovation. Really? But they say, I'm just looking at my notes. He says that he was going to slow down the song, which totally didn't make sense to me. He said in his intro package, I think he said that I'm going to try and slow it down a little, and then it's just not slowed at all. I feel like they're going to try and build a narrative between him versus Johnny if there's enough time in this season. I mean, there's very little left of the show at this point, and we still have 14 contestants left. I mean, I'm just looking. I just feel like it's nothing new with him. I mean, we've seen his kind of run in the past. He gets dinged on vocals, which is like the first critiques of the season.
Yay! Someone got a critique. I miss old show.
So, did you catch his duet?
I did watch it. It was a good pairing, I think. Who was with again?
He's with Colby Calais, who honestly I would have picked as my duet partner of this batch. He does Lucky.
It made sense because Jason Mraz also kind of has a limited voice.
We were just taking the low blows today.
I'm trying not to. Garrett seems lovely, and I don't like being mean, but sorry, I just don't get it. Especially after seeing there's one performer tonight who got cut, who I didn't get for most of the season, and then we'll get to her later. But and then suddenly it clicked for me. I really liked her this week, and boom, she's gone.
We'll probably be getting to that contestant a little later, but so he does this performance with Colby Calais. I think it's much better, honestly, than his solo performance. It kind of a little bit justified him advancing, which yes, he does end up being one of the. No. I don't think this should be a surprise to you though, because
it's not a surprise. I'm just saying it's not justified.
I mean,
he's gonna at least make the top 8, top 7.
Like watching America's Got Talent, there's always like that one contestant. Like they have the groups of 12, like they have the top like 50 or something, break them into 12 or something, and there's always like 1 or 2 that are clear fodder contestants. And that's what I got from his performances this week. He came into this round a fodder contestant.
I think he's fodder, but I don't think he's gonna stay fodder. I think he's gonna make it further than I'd like.
I highly doubt that. I mean, Like I said, he came in a
I
fodder
guess I'm just a
contestant.
pessimist.
He came in a fodder contestant, and he's leaving a fodder contestant. Like, I feel like there's been no growth from this round. There's been no. I mean, I think Johnny's going to win this battle, honestly, but I don't know.
No, I think Kate is going to win this battle.
Oh, Cade's definitely winning the battle. I mean, what's left over from Cade's battle? Like, Cade has ravaged the battle, and what's left over is between Johnny and Garrett, and Johnny's probably.
They're playing for 5th place. Okay.
I think they also took a swing at him, the producers, because they had his girlfriend there. And I feel like for all the single women who are rooting for him.
See, I don't buy that because anecdotally, I've seen so many concerts of like former white guy guitarist who are on Idol, David Cook in particular. The women in the audience don't give a crap that he's married. They don't give a crap that Chris Allen was married.
David Cook was married?
David Cook got married, yeah.
During his run on Idol?
Not during his run, but since. They still don't give a crap. I think that's overrated, the effect of marriage on female votes.
Any final thoughts on Garrett?
Nope. I'm good for now.
All right. So
I'm done being mean for today.
You're going to take a nice pill after this. Next, we move on to a contestant who I have a lot to say about, but I'm going to pass it over to you. But first, it is Maddie Poppy doing Brand New Key by Melanie, I think is her name. I think that's the artist's name. I had never heard of this song before tonight when I heard it. What did you think?
Okay. So first of all, I'm going to back myself up a bit by saying that I wasn't the only one who felt this way, because actually at work today, I have a coworker who barely watches Idol ever, but she liked Maddie and she wasn't blown away. And that's how I felt. Maddie was perfectly pleasant, but I'm not blown away by her. I think she's undeniably talented. She deserves to make the top 14, but she's not my thing.
I'm going to put this out into the universe right now. Maddie's my favorite contestant this season, honestly.
I figured.
So I'm a little bit biased, but bias aside, I'm going to try and judge a little bit evenly. I honestly thought of all the contestants who came into this round, Maddie is the one leaving it the best off. Maddie was almost invisible. We saw a glimpse of her audition, a little bit of her line to 10, and that was kind of it. And I feel like she is now leaving this round. This was her breakout round. She left with a lot of fans. She is one of the most viewed on YouTube with this performance, which, by the way, it adds so much that I didn't know this song. Like, she started it. I'm not going to sing it, but she started with like a do-do-do-do, and it was like that was my favorite part of this entire song. She reminds me of a cross of Joey Cook and Jax, honestly. Do you see that?
No.
You know, I thought so much that this season that Gabby was going to be our Jax, and I was totally wrong. Maddie's the Jax of the season. Maddie's the girl I'm going to root for.
Jax is so much better than Maddie. I'm sorry.
I don't want to be mean to Maddie.
Jax had personality. Jax, moved around the stage.
There's just for Maddie, there's like a quiet confidence about her.
We'll agree to disagree on her. I'm glad you like her. I'm glad people like her. She is talented. Not my thing.
But other notes that I have, they usually on American Idol, they always kind of hold off on those like one contestants before they break them out and like show them a lot. That was kind of Maddie's role, and she crafted a narrative for her this week is what I'm also getting at. Like in her intro package before her performance, she says, I've achieved my goal that I was setting out for. I made the top 24. And they're like, well, you could still win. Bobby Bones, who's the mentor, who's continuing the mentor. He's like, why would you just stop at 24? You could make it. You could go as far as you can in this show. And I feel like she was nervous in like her intro package, and she came out and she was like amazing. So I feel like she's crafting a narrative of someone who's like rising above those like preconceived feelings that she was feeling about her run. And I just think that that's so much more powerful for her, and that makes her so much more so of a contender.
See, I interpret that differently. I mean, you could interpret that your way, or you could also interpret it as she's not in it really to win it. I'm sorry, I hate myself for saying that. Kill me, please. The ghost of Randy Jackson just took over my body for a second. I'm really sorry, everybody. God, I'm done talking about her, because if I'm pulling out Randy Jackson quotes, I'm clearly running out of things to say.
I just, before we move on to her duet, I just want to say, I feel like the show wants you to like Maddie. That's the vibe I was getting from watching it. Like I feel like the producers are totally on board with her, and they're like okay pushing her to the audience, and I'm okay with it too. I'm a huge fan of hers. I can dig it. She's pretty cool. But moving on to her duet, she does with Colby Calais. She does "Bubbly," which is a song I really really like. And
don't like that song, like Colby. I will say this was a perfect pairing.
I wrote down perfect pairing.
Yeah, it was genuinely a perfect pairing. I'm really not a fan of that song. I love Colby Kelly. I actually seen Colby Kelly live once.
Who would your duet partner be if you were
if I had to pick between all these people?
Of all of them on the top 24?
Assuming I could sing like any of them.
Okay.
I would pick Rachel Platten because she worked the best with her contestants.
Didn't she only work with one?
She worked with Mara, but she did an amazing job with Mara.
We'll talk more about Mara later. But lastly, her results. Maddie is going through. I'm totally on board with this. I'm rooting for her. She's someone I got behind.
Good for you. He said.
Better be nice to Maddie.
He said slightly condescendingly. Good for you.
Better be nice to Maddie this season.
I'm not being mean to her. She's not my thing. She's undeniably talented.
Okay. So anyway, we move on to
everyone's thing, Adam.
We move on to our next contestant, who I feel like you have a lot to say. It's Ada Vox, aka Adam Sanders, American Idol returnee. He's doing "Feeling Good," the classic song that everyone loves to perform on these kinds of shows. What'd you think?
Okay. Here's my thing. The vocal was not perfect. Again, I still see a ton of potential. And I feel like it's a crime that they point out 13 auditions in the past, and without the drag, and then with the drag makes it. You know what though? I think.
What does that say about the show?
The show likes a story.
I totally agree. What do you think about the performance on its own?
On its own, I thought it was good. I thought parts of it were a little off. And having said that, Ada is still in my top 3. Based on potential alone. And the fact that it was a good performance. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. Go.
I mean, first of all, I just want to say this song is a gift. To be given this song on any of these shows, it's rare that I've heard a bad rendition of this song. Like if you're being given it, it's a good thing. But one of the things that how should we refer to Adam Sanders? He. Is it a he or
It's he. I got some clarification on this from one of my coworkers today, actually. He for Adam Sanders
because he's not transgender. He's just a drag queen. Yeah.
Different.
So
there are two different things.
I just know him as Adam Sanders because I've watched the show for so long, and I've kept up, and I've seen how many times this guy's audition, which is actually 13 times, which is completely insane.
Pointed that out this week, which is absolutely madness.
Why is it madness?
Because he's too good to have to audition 13 times.
You know, most of the times he auditioned, he probably wasn't in drag though. It was
doesn't matter. He still take away the drag. I still think he's the best singer.
I think though
on the show this year.
I think he's auditioned 13 times, but I think it's only been one time that he actually, like season 12, he made it to the judges. Yeah. Like he probably went to the cattle calls and just was turned down, like because everyone gets turned down in the like cattle calls. But
anyway,
it's good for him that he made it. I'm gonna say I love this performance. Absolutely loved it. I have it in my top 3 of the night, right next to Maddie. Like with one other person who we'll touch on a little later. It's a little bit of an overdone song. And one thing that I did notice that people are saying is he does do a little bit of over singing. But another thing that I want to point out is he's a really good singer, but he's kind of showing everyone everything he can do right away. Like it's like going to this is a bad metaphor, but like it's like going to a restaurant and just having everything served at once. Like it's where do we go from here?
It's overwhelming.
It's like, where do we go from here, honestly? And the thing is, I also feel like as good as he is, like I said in the past, I've mentioned this a lot of times. This narrative can easily be flipped on him. I feel like he honestly needs to be perfect for the rest of the season because he's one performance away from this entire thing crumbling, which is awful to say because I think he's just so good. But I feel like people like him, but they can easily not like him.
I honestly think that Ada Adam deserves to make a finale, if not win the whole damn show. But I know deep down that won't happen.
The thing is,
it's a shame.
We were talking in the pre-show, and one of the things I mentioned is I feel that if Ryan Seacrest comes on stage, like at the top 14, and he says, we have a shocking result tonight, I know how this is going to go. Like he's Adam Sanders is not the contestant that, like, there's a lot of, you don't know how people are going to react to him on the stage, how people are going to vote for him. I think he's one of the best singers. I don't know if he's one of the best who he doesn't have the most vote like ability to get because there's a lot of him and one other contestant who we'll touch on a little later. I feel like I'm really interested to see how America is going to take them. Will they support them or will they kind of turn them down for someone cookie cutter like Caleb? Right?
Okay. I understand, but
yeah. You know what I'm saying a little bit?
Yeah. And then the duet I think was actually better than the solo even.
I'm going to disagree with you on that, but really? He's performing with Leah Michele, who, if I was on the show, I would absolutely never, ever, ever want to be duetted with because she's just so good. Like I know her from Glee. She's incredibly talented. They do Defying Gravity, which is the first song I ever heard from Glee. I heard it. Have you heard the Glee version?
I have not. I've heard lots of other people sing it, but
it's a beautiful.
It's a great song. And I think I honestly thought this was a great duet. I think it was probably my favorite duet besides Mara's. And it was so good that Lionel didn't shut up for the entire thing, which bugged me because I wanted to download that MP3 and listen to it over and over again. And I can, but now I have to hear Lionel say, yes, keep it up. Oh my God, in the middle of it every time. And it's going to drive me insane.
Okay. I have a proposition. All right.
Go.
Tell me if this is crazy. Adam Sanders, no drag. Performing just as him. How would you feel about that?
It's not going to happen, but...
Why wouldn't it happen?
I mean, it might. I don't know.
What would you... I feel like...
I don't care, honestly. I don't care about the persona. I care about the talent, and the talent is undeniable.
I just feel like if there's a moment when he's, like, struggling in the competition and he's in danger, I feel like don't perform in drag and do like a really emotional song about like showing America like your real self. I feel like that's a potential huge moment right there. I mean, I'm worried about Adam because where does he go from here, honestly? Because he's kind of shown everyone everything he can do, and I don't know what's next, honestly. Because is he a marketable artist? Like, is he an American Idol?
Honestly, I think the drag thing actually gives him a niche because there aren't any other people like him on the charts. I mean, and I think the niche is what's good about it. So
I don't know, but anyway, just focusing on his duet, I think it's another perfect pairing. I can tell that Leah was kind of holding back. Adam was pretty good. There was one note, like the high note, where it was like bordering on going off. Like I was like, oh, hold it, and he held it. But like, I'm a little worried about he lacks a little bit of control, which was what got him cut in season 12. He has an amazing voice, but it kind of like goes right to the border of like going off. And I'm a little worried about that. But overall, I think this was Adam's like his ranking hasn't changed. He's kind of maintained where I've imagined him to be. Like this wasn't a down, this wasn't an up, which is weird because he did do such an incredible performance, but I still see him at like 4th, 5th, 3rd, like 3rd, 4th, 5th, 3, 4, 5. Like he's just somewhere in that mix. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
Nope.
But he does advance. Katy Perry screaming as she throws the card. She doesn't throw the card, but she's like, "You're going through." It's a big moment for him, and good for this guy. I mean, 13 seasons and to finally make it to the top 24. I feel like there should be a
top 14.
top 14. I feel like there should be a meme of him like it's a bad luck Adam Sanders finally makes it to the top 14, and it's the shortest season where people are just going to get cut like left and right.
Yeah.
I mean, poor Adam Sanders. But anyway, we move on to our next contestant. It is Caleb Lee Hutchinson. He's doing Die a Happy Man. What'd you think? I think he gets it. I think he gets it. I think you're a total Caleb fan.
Sorry. Nope. Just don't get it.
Well, the judges get it because they give him a standing ovation. In my opinion, this is just like you could copy and paste any performance in the past of his and just that's kind of the same thing he does.
It's exactly the same thing every time, yeah. Just like Scotty did the exact same thing every time.
No, Scotty did other things. Like I'll defend Scotty.
Good for you. I mean, you defend Scotty.
I mean, when Caleb performs, it's him with his guitar right in front of the microphone, and he doesn't move. Like he kind of just stands there with like a blank face and kind of like smiles every so often. Do you remember when Scotty performed "Gone"? Do you remember that song?
That was the one Scotty performance I didn't hate.
That's what I want from Caleb. Like, I feel like Caleb is like stuck. I feel like he's really nervous, honestly, on the show. Like when he performs, like I could see he's probably terrified. And I feel like he needs to do an up-tempo song that like drop the guitar, like move around a little bit, like but don't do like a Tim Urban crazy little thing. Like I want to see him.
Don't slide. Don't do the slide thing. Yeah, got it.
The thing is, he's a solid singer. Like he's a good singer, but it's generic. I've seen this. I've seen this run in the past.
Exactly.
And he's not giving me anything different. Like he can, if he wants, he can do some different things. But I feel
Dexter Roberts.
Basically, I mean, I just want to see him go up tempo. He just never moves. He just kind of. I want to see him. I want some more personality. He's a good singer. He checks off that. He has. The thing is, I could totally also see him winning, and I want to see some variety from him because. I don't know.
Insert Darth Vader going, no!
But he can. I'm not wrong.
Oh, you're not wrong. But I don't want to think about that right now.
Anyway.
The duet?
For his duet, he does it with, he opens the night with BB Rexa. He does Meant to Be by BB, is it BB? How's it again?
Beba Rexa
and Florida.
Honestly, here's the thing. Before I knew that the song actually did have a country singer in it originally, I thought, like, what a stupid duet pairing. And then I realized, oh, this is originally a country pop crossover. And the problem was the pairing further to me made Caleb seem mediocre.
I just feel like he didn't.
In my view, sadly.
I just feel like he's one of the contestants, like Adam Sanders. Like Maddie went straight up. Adam kind of stayed the same. Caleb is exactly where he was. Like he's just... Nothing's kind of, he didn't take any risks. He didn't take any large vocal steps. I mean, he sang a good song. He's a great voice, but he's not giving me anything different. Everything is kind of generic, and I've seen it before. And if he wants to go further, I feel like he needs to start switching things up.
Yep.
But regardless, he does get through. He is moving on. By the way, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but at the end of the show, but we're going to be talking more about the top 14 a little bit later in the week. But moving on, we move on to a contestant who I'm going to guess that you probably really liked. It was Effie Passero. She's performing Barracuda by Heart, made famous on the Idol stage by Gina Irene. What did you think?
Here's my thing. Until now, I wasn't a huge Effie fan. And the second I like a performance of hers, boom, she's gone. I actually really did like the song. I thought it was a perfect match for her voice, and I think that she, honestly, I finally got it for her, and then poof, gone.
Wow. This is going to surprise you, but I don't agree with that. I think she's a very genuine performance. I thought the song she was a little screamy, and some parts
the song warrants.
Some parts were a little bit uncomfortable. I don't know why. This is a song that I understand for her. It makes sense. But for the top 24, why would you pick this? Like, she has such a beautiful voice. I wanted to see her doing something behind the piano, honestly. I feel like...
I didn't, honestly. I think this is... I disagree. And I know that a lot of people online agree with you, not me. but sorry, I liked it a lot.
I mean, it's a good song. I just thought it could have had a better execution. I mean,
Sure.
I guess we'll disagree. We'll agree to disagree, but that's my opinion on Effie. She's a nice person. She seems like such a cool dude.
Oh, yeah. I've never not liked her as a person. Yeah.
But moving on to her duet, she gets the pimp spot in the
which means absolutely nothing.
Which means absolutely nothing. She does the song by Cam, Diane. And she has in her intro package that she was supposed to duet with Jessie J, who I would have loved to see. I love Jessie J. Like, she's one of my favorite artists. But I feel like Cam outshone her.
I didn't even watch the duet because she didn't make it through.
I mean, I just feel like she was a little bit swallowed in this performance. You couldn't really hear them. The music was kind of really loud, but I don't really have that many thoughts on it. Yeah, we get to her results. She is one of the contestants cut. We'll talk a little bit more about if someone would have been switched out at the end, but we'll keep her in mind for a little later. I just thought her solo was a little bit karaoke, but she's a good singer. Next up,
Alyssa.
Oh, yeah. 1 second. Going back to Effie, I just have a note on the next page. After her solo performance, she says the next song she's doing is country, and you see like she has a smile on her face, and I was like, oh no, because they made her go country, and it's an awkward mix. But anyway, we move on to Alyssa Ragu, and what do you think?
I did not like the "How are you all feeling tonight" thing that she started out with. I did not like that at all.
I was going to say that.
And I felt like the performance itself was kind of high school talent show, not really American Idol.
I have in my notes, it's just bust, like with the S, like stretching, like this was a busing, because first of all, why would it's like the judges giving standing ovations to everyone, like to come out and say, how you all feeling tonight? And then do a really emotional song. Like, there's a disconnect. Like with the judges of giving standing ovations to everyone and then cutting them, it just kind of doesn't make sense. For her performance, I wasn't feeling it. It sounds, she's a good singer, but honestly, when I was like remembering all the contestants, I totally forgot about her. Like, she's very, I don't want to be harsh or like mean, but like there were more memorable contestants, and I feel like she wasn't the worst singer, but she brought the least to the table.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel like it would have been a favor to her to cut her in the top 24, like pre-top 24, and that way give her a shot to a return, because maybe with another year she could. I just feel like I said, she didn't bring that much to the table. There were other contestants who sang worse than her, but brought something interesting that, like, there's not much here, is what I'm trying to say a little bit.
Yep.
All right, but we move on. Moving on. No, we're not up to that yet. Moving on, we get to her duet. She does. I've never heard of this person. Who is Banners?
I don't know.
And we'll never know again. We'll never hear from them again. They do a song that made no sense to me. They do a song that I absolutely love. It's Yellow by Coldplay. But this just makes absolutely no sense. Like this, their vocals didn't really go together, the two singers. I mean,
muting again. Here comes the train.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep talking. Like I said, she's a great singer. She's just a little bit out of her element. I feel like there's no musical identity to her a little bit. Like, she doesn't kind of go anywhere, but she seems like such a sweet girl. She seems so nice. It's just a shame that this is how things kind of go down for her, but best of luck to her, which leads us to her results. She is one of the contestants who is cut. I would ask you if you had any other final thoughts, but we'll just move right on. So like this, we move on to Marcio Donaldson, who a lot of people really seem to like. He's doing Inseparable by Natalie Cole. What do you think about it?
Okay, I'm unmuted. Candace and Jennifer Hudson, season 12 finale. owned this song. Marcio's runs were great, but I wasn't blown away like the judges were blown away.
Wow. I just wrote down that he's more emotion than vocals is how I feel his story goes.
I could see that. Yeah, I could. That makes sense.
One of the things that's starting to get on my nerves a little bit, and it's starting to get on some other people who've been talking about the show, is he does a little bit too much crying, and it comes across a little bit like no one really wants to see like a grown man cry every so often. Like it's just once or twice is like if there's a really emotional thing, you kind of get it. But if it's so overdone, it starts to get people uncomfortable. And I think that's a little bit where things are going. I mean, he knows how to do things with his voice, but he just doesn't know when or why to do them. Like he's singing the song, and then it just always it goes down to low register. Do you remember when in Adam Sandler's audition he did this? He was talking and he said that he could go really low. Like that's what Marcio is doing, but he was doing it in the competition, and it just he does things with his voice that don't really make sense. He can do impressive things, but they come out awkwardly because he has weird ways of him trying to bring them out. But I don't know. I don't really know. What do you feel about like his run?
I will say that my coworker who was on Love with Maddie did like Marcio a lot. So there's that. But yeah, I kind of said all my thoughts about him already.
I'm just not so sure about him. I feel like people are going to start comparing him to Dennis, and I feel like Dennis has the better voice, but less 100%. Emotion, and Marcio has more emotion and not as good of a voice.
Yes.
But, I mean, the thing is, this is American Idol. That could still sell him and push him forward. But
I think he's one of the four. I think he's one of the four going this week, personally.
I don't see that, honestly.
You don't?
There's a part of me that we'll talk about this a little bit more afterwards, but we move on to his duet with Alan Stone. It's "What's Going On" by Marvin Gaye. He just always looks like he's about to start crying. Like I feel like if this was a person who I knew constantly, like it's getting a little bit uncomfortable. I'm nothing against him. Like he seems like such a genuine person, but it's just, like, what did you think of his duet?
Good. Again, I wasn't blown away. That's all I wrote.
The thing is, Marcio needs to find a way to be compelling, honestly, is his problem. He's like I said, he's a great singer. He just doesn't know how to use his voice. He has a great voice. He just kind of pulls tricks out that don't make sense. And I don't know. I did love his Alan Stone. Like, in my opinion, Alan Stone seems like such a cool dude. If I couldn't have Colby Calais as my duet partner, I would have gone with Alan Stone. He seems like such a cool dude. Do you agree?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't really have any thoughts on Marcio, honestly.
The thing is,
I have a lot of thoughts on the next two, but
before we move on, I just want to say that he does like the same kind of songs every performance, and it's not current is another thing. That Dennis is very current, and Marcio
is much less current. Yeah,
is much less current,
more old-fashioned. Yeah,
which is a ding against him. But moving forward, that's something easily remedied. Next week, take an emotional Sam Smith song, do "Too Good at Goodbyes," Latch, like something like more current. I think
Dennis would be better at Latch though, because Dennis would be better at falsetto. But okay.
I mean, I'm just trying to say that he's a good singer. There's some things that could be, most of his problems that I want to say can be worked out. Like,
yes.
Like the problems I'm talking about can be fixable very easily.
Yeah, totally.
But I feel like we're going on a little bit too much about him. But he does advance, and he's moving on, which brings us to our next contestant. This is someone we're going to be talking about for a while. I could feel it's Mara Justine, but just for her solo performance, she does "Run to You" by Whitney Houston. What'd you think?
Okay, I think she is the best female singer this season by a mile. In my opinion.
Maddie. You mean Maddie? You meant to say Maddie.
False.
Maddie.
False. I think that this performance, the vocal was incredible. I've heard the song done live, actually, by a 36-year-old at the time X Factor winner, Sam Bailey, and Mara equals that performance for me at the age of 15. The song is not easy to sing. Mara nailed it. I think she deserves to make the finale based on this. I do think that the song choice could have been better for her. I think she should have picked something a little bit more contemporary. But my God, she has so much potential.
A lot of people after this week are kind of leaving the Mara train. Is something I've noticed.
I've noticed that too. I don't get it.
For my notes, I just have that this was, in my opinion, as much praise as you give her, I'm going to kind of go a little bit the opposite. I feel like this was a pretty bad week for Mara. Just on her solo performance. We're just talking about her solo performance. Like on the ranking of all the contestants who performed, in my opinion, she was going into this week like in the first, second, third spot. After this solo performance, I'm like, she's 4, 5, 6. Because why would you do this song? Like, this is such a... She's not painting herself as a current artist. She has an incredible voice, but I want her to stick to current music. Like with Carly Rae Sonnenclair, like you got to paint yourself current because the big voice is... I feel like people could easily... I don't know. I just feel like she's making some wrong decisions that I feel that I wanted her to go for a modern big song, like the Rachel Platten song. Like that would have been what I would have wanted her to do. But why does she have to go so far back in her song choices? Like just thinking of her songs, beside for Love on the Brain, I think, well, first of all, we haven't seen her that much, which is another thing. People are saying like we only saw her audition and I think her Green Mile. But another thing that I noticed was that she had her eyes closed for a lot of the performance, like when she's going to the big notes, which is another thing. It's not really allowing a connection to build. But I just want to say that I'm a huge Mara fan. Like she's in my top 3 personally, but I feel like she's damaging her reputation a little bit by going with these old songs. Like there are some beautiful current big ballads.
I would agree. Like, song choice could have been better. I'm judging it based on potential at this point for her. And based on potential, I still think she's the best female singer this season.
I'm not quite sure about that, but
okay.
We move on to her duet with Mara and Rachel Platten. It's Fight Song, the most overdone Rachel Platten song I've ever heard. But Rachel Platten is on piano, and I wrote down, this is what I want. This is the kind of artist for American Idol that Mara needs to be. She needs to be picking these kinds of songs. She is the best when vulnerable. I wrote down that I'm honestly convinced that there are 2 Maras in this competition. There's Run to You Mara and Fight Song Mara. I mean, it's like one is going to be cut very early and the other is being dragged into maybe having potential. Like Run to You Mara is not going to win the show. Fight Song Mara could make a deep run for it. I just feel like Rachel kind of is like pulling the talent out of her of like, this is what you need to do. This is the smart decision. And I feel like when left to her own devices, we're going to get more of Run to You kind of performances. Like I said, we just need more Fight Song Mara and not Run to You Mara.
I think you're reading way too much into the newness of the song. Personally, I do. I feel like both songs suited her voice really well. And I think Fight Song the duet was better overall, but I don't think that, I feel like my thing of song choice isn't about contemporary versus not contemporary. My thing is, does the song make your voice, does your voice go with the song? And her voice went with both songs.
I feel so like
that's my perspective on it, but we'll see.
I feel like go on. I'm sorry.
I fear that she might not last that long, but I really think she deserves to. So
I feel like her next performance is going to make or break her. Honestly, I feel like a great performance, like a ballad with like a current ballad, is going to like either push her back to the number 1 or 2 spot, or she's going to be cut, honestly, in the top 14. A lot of people are kind of saying this. I'm starting to a little bit believe it because I just feel like this was, if not for her duet, this would have been a very bad week for Mara.
Disagree, but okay.
All right. But I just want to say her duet with Rachel was one of my favorite performances of the night.
It was my
Absolutely,
favorite performance of the night, but okay.
it was
It
number
was
one.
my personal favorite of the night, but okay.
Okay, but she's going through. I would send her through as well. Any final thoughts on Mara?
Not yet. I'll have them later.
Okay. Next up is a contestant. Let's get into it. It's her name is Journey. She's doing "Flashlight" by Jessie J. What'd you think?
I think she's a great singer, an understated but effective performer, and she's extremely likable. But I feel like this season she's going to be a mid-packer at best. And it bugs me to say that because if you put her in like a different season, she could probably win the whole damn thing. But I feel like she's just outclassed by Ada, Mara, some of the others.
I think what I'm most interested in seeing is how Journey and Adam Sanders will perform on this season, like in terms of how they'll place. I want to see. I'm so curious to see how America will take to them because there's like she's a little bit not on the what people usually would root for a little bit.
She's closer of an Adam, though.
You think so?
I think she's more mainstream than Adam.
I think
having said that,
Journey is less likely to get people, is less
excited.
Offensive, but not offensive. You know what I'm saying a little bit, like
Less polarizing.
Polarizing is the better term. I just feel like Journey's a really good singer. I honestly really enjoyed this performance, but I feel like going forward, she's the kind of contestant that people will assume her safety, and I feel like she could be a shock boot. I mean, you know what she reminded me a little bit of? She reminded me a little bit of Serena Joy Crow if she just stuck to ballads. Like I kind of want to see Journey do something like Mama Knows Best. Like I want to see her.
I want to see her push herself.
Most of her performances have been ballads. I kind of want to see
All
her.
have been, I think.
Yeah, I want to see how she'll do with an up tempo. But if she wants to go up tempo, she has to be really, really careful with which song she does. It should not be a Believer song. It should be like Imagine Dragons,
a power ballad type thing. I don't think you should go all the way up tempo. I think she should go like halfway.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a song for her. Just something a little bit up tempo, not fully up tempo. That it's like not Proud Mary up tempo, but like
oh God,
that's something she can think about. Like
the snap thing. That'd be wonderful.
Oh, you would like that?
No, I would hate it, but it'd be fun. It'd be fun to laugh at.
I feel like
I'm a horrible person. Okay.
Just going on? She's one of the best singers, honestly. I feel of this batch.
Totally.
She lacks Maddie's confidence a little bit. I feel like there's a little
confidence, and agreed.
Like I feel like if you take Journey and Maddie and combine them, you have the perfect contestant. Like
if you take Journey's voice and
you're being mean to Maddie. You're being mean to Maddie. You're not allowed to be mean to Maddie. That's a rule.
It's not a rule.
Hopefully she doesn't crash and burn in the next rounds. But we're still talking about Journey.
There are no rules.
What?
You don't edit the show. There are no rules.
We move on to their duet with Leah Michelle. And I heard one of the things that I did hear was that they were doing a Leah Michelle song, and I was hoping it would be do you know Cannonball by Leah Michelle?
I do not.
Well, it's kind of an up-tempo, a little bit up-tempo, not really. It's like kind of the power ballad vein a little bit. But they're doing Run to You. And as soon as they said Run to You, I was like, oh my God, it's the Mara song. Like they're busting Mara. And then I was like, oh, it's Leah Michelle's Run to You, and they're just kind of the same thing. But first of all, Leah Michelle's 31, which just blew me away. But anyway.
She looks so much younger, but then again, she was on Glee, so she had to look young. But yeah.
Yeah, when did Glee come out? Like she must have been like 25 on Glee.
They cast people who look a lot younger than they are. Anyway.
I wrote Leah was a great duet partner. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. 3 words.
I love the duet, yes.
One of my favorites.
If Journey does more performance like this, she could go far.
The thing is, I don't know how America will take to her. I mean, like you said, she's polarizing. Like it's.
I think that she's not the one to talk about polarizing. I think she's far less polarizing than you think she is.
We'll see.
We will see.
I think there's potential for a shock boot, but we'll see. Anyway, she is one of the contestants. She is advancing, which is awkward because that is our top 7. But we're going to talk about the last 2 contestants really quickly.
Yeah, really quickly.
We have Shannon O'Hara. She does All I Ask by Adele. I wrote
To
down.
sing Adele, you have to sing it totally different or better. And she didn't do either.
I've never heard this Adele song. Is it new?
It's relatively new. But yeah, my view is to sing Adele, you have to sing it way differently or you have to sing it better. Otherwise, you have no business singing her. And she didn't do either. So
the comparison that I'm thinking of is her and Alyssa. Like she's not the most memorable contestant. I feel like she has a very bubbly, like adorable personality, but she lacks a little bit of vocal creativity. I mean, it's kind of, I feel like I don't understand why she did this song and didn't play piano. Like, right? No?
yeah, I mean, the big thing is that parts of it were slightly off from what I remember. So
I wrote down, she has a good voice, but a good voice alone can only push you so far.
yep.
Which is a shame because I feel like she's another contestant I would have liked to see come back. Like I would have said cut her at top 24 and have her return, but it's not how it goes. We move on to her duet. What'd you think?
Didn't watch it.
I mean, it's kind of more of the same. I mean, she's a good singer, but I just feel like she kind of made some not the best choices, kind of how it goes, which is indicative of how things end up panning out for her because she is eventually cut. Any final thoughts on Shannon?
Nope.
Next up is the last contestant of the night, the pimp spot, which is really, really weird because usually the pimp spots are like saved for the best. And I feel
sorry, I just don't get it. How the hell did he make it so far?
He was cut in his audition and they brought him back.
Yeah.
And
I remember made it all the way to the top 24. Oh my God. It wasn't, to be fair, his performance was not awful by any stretch, but it was not top 14 worthy. And I have to point out, he did Dancing on My Own by Robin and by Caleb Scott.
You're doing my job.
I know I am because I care about this one song. See this song done right. Watch Caleb Scott's Golden Buzzer worthy audition of the song, which got him a Golden Buzzer on Britain's Got Talent. Or watch, I actually saw him do a song live 2 years ago in DC at a radio station, and that was also stellar. And that's on my YouTube channel. Subtle plug. Yeah, Caleb Scott did the song right. Ron didn't really.
I feel like Journey should have had the pimp spot.
I feel like the order was a little off, but whatever. The order didn't matter at this point because people aren't voting. So
yes, but
there should be voting, but that's a different discussion.
He has this really awkward intro package that I couldn't help making notes about him. He compares himself to a mix of Kanye West and a football coach. And it was
I didn't watch that, but that's wonderful.
It was like this really awkward. They were kind of busting him a little bit with the intro package where they were kind of you kind of know how it goes, where they were like kind of painting him as not taking it very seriously or just like the kooky contestant who's like a little bit.
You know what? Honestly, that line alone kind of makes me think he should have stayed. That's wonderful. I need more lines like that.
For his performance, I wrote he just never looks excited to be performing. He kind of like,
to be fair, that's not what the song requires. But the song it's a sad song. You're supposed to like be emotional about it.
But if he's not really emoting and he's not really showing emotion, then how does he expect the audience to
feel anything?
Yeah. So, but he gets a standing ovation because he's very far away.
He's too short, and the judges couldn't see over everyone else.
They can't see him. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of stuff going on. They can't really see. But yeah, let's move on to his duet. He is performing with Banners, which is at this point I'm starting to think performing with Banners is cursed. He's doing
Banners of my question, but I'll move on. I didn't watch.
I'll tell you who Banners is. He's some singer he's just some guy, and he's performing the American Idol theme song, which is Someone to You. And they probably made a deal with him that if he managed to get them to make a deal.
Is that actually the theme song?
Yeah. That's for the commercials. It was the Someone Like You song that Ron does with Banners.
Okay.
So that's kind of why I feel things went that way. But an awkward pairing, Banners is cursed. I do not want Banners to be my duet partner. Give me Carly LA or Rachel Platten, or not Leah Michelle. That would have been good. But
yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about Ron's run?
Bye, Ron.
Wow, harsh.
Not harsh. I mean, he got a free vacation to Hollywood out of it.
He made it to top 24, so that's
yeah, good for him. Good for him.
All right,
that's what I'll say. Ron seems like a nice guy, and I really enjoyed that line he said. But
what?
Yeah.
Which line?
Kanye West combined with football coach. That was great.
Oh, you should go watch the intro package. It's glorious.
I will do that.
So
I'm kidding, I won't do that, but
that is our top 14. We have our entire list. This is the point where things get real. Now we have
Now we get to vote.
This is the good part. So before we move on to talk about a little bit about the top 24, I want to throw it to you. Who are your top 3 solo performances?
Solo performances from this week or both weeks?
This week.
Solo performances. Ada, Journey.
Say the right answer.
Mara.
Oof. I'm going to go Maddie, Adam, Journey.
Okay.
I feel like you're sleeping on Maddie. Like
I'm not sleeping on Maddie. Maddie's.
She's going to, when she wins, we're going to have a bet going on where like, if she wins, I get to say I told you so.
If she wins, I will eat my Britney Spears sign that I made.
On video.
Not on video, but I will eat it. Because I think she's going home before top 8.
All right. So I see her top 5, honestly. I think she's picking up steam. This is the moment. Yeah. All right.
Don't be too disappointed. I'm sorry.
All right. So we have our top 7. Who would you maybe, of all the contestants who were cut, who would you kind of maybe switch in and
bring
out?
Back? Effie.
Effie's
the only one I would have brought back.
If you get a wild card, that's your pick? For a wild
card, can I still bring Thaddeus back?
I guess. I mean, it's kind of unfair, but
I know it's unfair, but who cares? Cutting him was unfair.
I would bring back. Oof. I'm going to bring back a contestant who I feel was screwed over. I would say Brandon Diaz.
Yeah, I honestly he's one of the 3 that I would consider possibly bringing back.
So top 14 next week. I'm not quite sure how the next rounds are going to go, but there's very little idle content left for this season. There's I think like 4 episodes, and then we're at the finale. 4 weeks,
4 weeks of live shows plus the 5th week being the finale. Yes.
Which is absolutely horrendous. Like, I mean,
it's horrendous.
They're going to be
worse. To be fair, X Factor Australia's last season was worse. That's not saying much, but
I hate this format. I hate the duets. I hate that
we
had these rounds.
My minimum to get really invested.
The best format that I really would have liked was the season 10 and 11, where they have the top 24. Like in 1 week, you could kind of do it, where it's like all you need is 3 episodes. You do 2 top 12 nights and then a result night. Cut it down to 13. No, cut it down to 10, and then have 6 contestants perform for the wild card. Like this format just doesn't work for me, and I hate it so much. I hate that it's watered down. Everything is like safe and like carefully edited. Like this is the round where things should get real, and it doesn't get real. And it's just, I blame Katy Perry, honestly, because of her busy schedule. It's all Katy Perry's fault. Everything this season is Katy Perry's fault. She's telling people
leave
that
Katy
really
Perry alone, says Brittany.
I love Katy Perry's music, but like a lot of the problems I feel are a little bit tied to her, like her effusive praise. Like poor Amelia Harris was told she's going to be top 10, and everyone else is getting told she's top 10, and then they're just getting cut. Like it's why
it reminds me of. It reminds me of this one back in like 2016 or 2012 or whenever, one of the last presidential elections. like at least 4 contestants said God told me to run for president, which means God was at least screwing with at least 3 of them. Well, 4 of them, because none of them actually became president. But
you don't know that.
So God was screwing with them.
Anyway, so any final thoughts you want to touch on before we get out of here?
Nope. But I will say that Adam won the coin flip for our draft episode. So congratulations, Adam, on winning the draft.
You don't know who I'm gonna pick. So
Doesn't matter who you. Unless you're a complete idiot, you're gonna win the draft.
Like Eric said, so we have our usual Tuesday episode. This week we're going to have an episode special on Thursday where we are going to do a draft. We are going to go back and forth, break the contestants down. We're going to be talking a bit more about the contestants as we choose them. We'll kind of share our thoughts and feelings about them as we add them to our team until we each have 2 teams of 7. And I just want to say that my team is going to win.
Well, since you won the coin flip, your team is going to win. Unless you don't pick Cade, in which case you're an idiot, and then you're not. You're
putting so much on Cade. I don't know if he like I said, Jesse Kinch from Rising Star. I mean, I don't know if he'll win. He's got all the makings of a winner, but no post-show marketability. A little bit.
Yeah, we'll see.
Who's the runner-up?
I'm just. What?
Who's the runner-up?
Who's the runner-up? That's the hard part.
Maddie.
It's not Maddie. I don't know who it is, though, at this point. I don't know.
Oh, some other things to mention. The themes are coming up. We have 2 themes that we know of. We have Disney theme, which means someone is definitely going to be singing Moana. And we also have...
No, someone's going to be singing Let It Go.
We have that, and it's also Prince Week, who I'm going to say something really controversial. I have very, very little knowledge of Prince music. I know like 1, maybe 2 of his songs, but
I'm going to say something equally controversial, which is the exact same thing. I don't know very many of his songs ever.
I think I know a little bit of Purple Rain and like Kiss because it was on Glee, which is weird because Prince is always so like protective of his music, and now all of a sudden people are getting.
Family let him be an idol. I'm amazed. I'm amazed. But whatever.
Anyway, so I just want to say before we get out of here that tomorrow I'm going to have an article out on my TV blog article. I'm going to be doing song suggestions for the top 14. I'm going to give full thoughts on what they should sing, that kind of stuff. I have a lot of good ideas for them. You might like them, you might hate them. Otherwise, you could follow me on Twitter at AdamSoapbox. You could follow my website. It's adamstvblog.com. It's no longer .wordpress.com. It's adamstvblog. AdamsTVblog.com.
You finally suckered it up and bought the domain name.
I finally bought the domain name. It's that, and I also have my personal website. It's adamsoapbox.blog. So it's a little bit there.
I know this.
But Eric, you want to share your information?
Yep, Eric_Ascher on Twitter, thoughts.ericascher.com. I have all my notes from this episode. Plus, I still have that Apple Music diatribe thing that I wrote out of sheer boredom last week. But I think it turned out pretty well. So check it out. Follow me there. I also am including, like, when I reference performances on these shows, like I reference Callum Scott's, I link to that on my blog. Basically just that. This was fun. I'm excited for live shows because this is a part of a show that I always look forward to every year. So
I'm more excited to see Maddie win.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, thank you.
Sorry I'm going to apologize in advance for your disappointment. Okay.
You're going to. All right. Anyway, before this gets any more escalated, thank you everyone who's joined us. We'll see you again if you want to join us on Thursday. You could follow me for updates. Until then, peace out.
See y'all later.